Girls. That's what I decided to do my final assessment on. So Mean Girls is about this girl named Katie, and she lived in Africa and was homeschooled for most of her life. Well, it came high school, her parents decided that it was time for her to get socialized, so they send her off to public school. She quickly realizes the first day that she's there that there's a bunch of different cliques, and these cliques don't get along with the other cliques, and that if you're not in that clique once we made the clique, then you're not going to be in one. Well, all of a sudden, the popular girls are like, you can sit with us, you look pretty. And so she decides to sit with them. Well, she was supposed to sit with them the whole week, but she didn't know if she was going to or not. So she goes and tells her friend Janice, oh my God, they want me to sit with them for the rest of the week. And she kind of didn't really want to do it, but Janice is like, oh my God, you have to do it, you have to do it, so we can ruin the plastic, so we can come up with a plan to ruin them. And she decides, okay, sure, well, by the end of the movie, she ends up being the new queen bee of the group. And, after she's the queen bee, she quickly realizes that she doesn't want to be part of this popular group that looks down on the other girls and stuff like that. So she ends up breaking up the plastics herself after their plan goes down. So by the very end of the movie, the plastics are just no more. So the movie characters that I'm going to talk about today is Katie, Janice, Damien, Regina, Karen, Gretchen, Aaron, and the junior class girls. I only say the junior class girls because they don't really have a name, but there is a part in there where they're like talking, but they don't have a name, so I just went ahead and put junior class girls. So the 6 concepts that I will be talking about today are stereotyping, uncertainty, reduction theory, collectivism, deception of commission, impression formation theory, and words of apology. So the first concept, stereotyping. This one is huge in the movie. There's stereotypes all over the place. It's pretty much a movie about stereotyping. And so stereotyping is to place a person or group of people into an inflexible, encompassing category. So pretty much just putting everyone that looks the same or acts the same in one group. So in Mean Girls, there is a scene where the concept of stereotyping comes up when Janice and Damien were talking to Katie about the lunchroom. The school lunchroom, it's the place where you need to know all the stereotypes, where to sit, where not to sit, who to avoid, who not to avoid. So stereotyping is illustrated when Janice and Damien start talking about the different groups that sit together at lunch. They start naming off the typical stereotypes that you would find in high school, like JV jocks, Asian nerds, varsity jocks, preps, wannabes, stuff like that. So the concept of stereotype is used all around us on a daily basis. The purpose of it is to help people understand the information that we need to more easier. I think it was used effectively in this movie because it's like all over it, and you can definitely tell the different stereotypes. People usually put people in stereotypes to make sense of the world, like who's who, who's with what group, stuff like that. So I do have a video here, and once it loads, you will see the scene that I was talking about earlier.
Safe Therapy.
After this ad.
HCA Houston, ER 24/7.
Here, this map is going to be your guide to North Shore. Now, where you sit in the cafeteria is crucial because you got everybody there. You got your freshmen, ROTC guys, preps, JV jocks, Asian nerds, cool Asians, varsity jocks, unfriendly black hotties, girls who eat their feelings, girls who don't eat anything,
Sorry, my internet's messed up a little bit.
burnouts, sexually active bandies, the greatest people you will ever meet, and the worst, beware of the plastics.
Okay, so that scene just shows you the types that they were saying. Sorry about that little hiccup right in the middle. My internet's not too good. So the next concept that I will be talking about is uncertainty reduction theory. So this claims that people seek information to reduce the uncertainty of another person or another group, thus achieving control over it and predictability over what the group's going to do. So this scene is shown, this theory is shown in the scene where Damien, Katie, and Janice were trying to come up with a plan to destroy the plastics. So Katie has to pretty much break Gretchen Wieners, which is the side, like kind of not the queen bee, but like this one that's not very powerful. Well, she has to break Gretchen to come up with the information for Regina, and so Katie can use like all the different secrets that Gretchen tells her, like against her, and so Katie's pretty much just gathering information to take control over the group so she can ultimately destroy it. So uncertainty reduction theory helps a person be less uncertain and more predictable. It can help someone predict another's behavior, like how they're going to act, what they're going to do. I think this one was used effectively, even though it was for the wrong reasons. But people pretty much just use this to gather information on someone or something to try to control the situation they are in. So the third concept, collectivism. This one is another huge part. The plastics has collectivism written all around them. So collectivism is relating to it's pretty much telling that the group has more authority over the individuals than over each individual in it. So you have to run everything by the group. You can't do whatever you want to do because you have to run it by the group, stuff like that. So the scene that's shown really bad is whenever Katie decides to sit with the plastics and Gretchen starts to talk about the rules that she has to follow if she sits with them. Well, Gretchen tells Candy that she could like someone, but she could be wrong. And Gretchen also told her that she had to follow these rules or she could not sit with them. This shows that she has to run everything by her group and make sure it's okay with her group before she does it on her own. So a collectivist will take social harmony or effective functioning of certain social societies having value in themselves, a value that typically wipes out, destroys an individual's like pleasures and freedoms. Like you are no longer your own person, your group is your person, pretty much. I believe this concept was used very effectively because, I mean, Regina had a huge, she used this theory so much that she was the head bee in all of the, throughout the years and everything. So she did use it very effectively. People use this method when they're in a group to make sure they have control over the group. So here is a clip of collectivism. Come on, load. Sorry about that. After this ad. This is why I don't like YouTube.
24/7.
Having lunch with the plastics was like leaving the actual world and entering Girl World. And Girl World had a lot of rules. You can't wear a tank top 2 days in a row, and you can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week. So I guess you pick today. Oh, and we only wear jeans or track pants on Fridays. Now, if you break any of these rules, you can't sit with us at lunch. Well, I mean, not just you, any of us. Okay, look, if I was wearing jeans today, I would be sitting over there with the art freaks. Oh, we always vote before we ask someone to eat lunch with us because you have to be considerate of the rest of the group. Well, I mean, you wouldn't buy a skirt without asking your friends first if it looks good on you. I wouldn't? Right. Oh, and it's the same with guys. Like, you may think you like someone, but you could be wrong. 120 calories and 48 calories for fat. What percent is that? 48 into 120? I'm only eating foods with less than 30% calories from fat. It's 40%. Well, 48 over 120 equals x over 100, and then you cross multiply and get the value of x. What?
Okay, so that was a scene of collectivism. Just that showed where Gretchen was telling her, you have to follow these rules, pretty much. So the next one is deception of commission. So deception of commission is pretty much whenever someone lies to you, lies to other people, stuff like that. So there are multiple scenes. There are so many different scenes where this theory is shown, but there's one scene that did stand out in my mind. So Regina George told Katie that, oh yeah, she'll talk to Aaron for her. Well, so Regina goes to the Halloween party, she starts talking to Aaron, and Katie was like, oh, this is gonna be great. She's finally talking to him. Well, ends up that Regina was telling all these nasty lies about Katie to Aaron to make Aaron fall back in love with Regina and not have a crush on Katie. So the purpose of this concept is to show how cruel a person can be to one another, or to another, and how rumors spread. Because rumors, they spread like wildfire. I mean, so if you just start one little tiny rumor, it can go into something, blow up, like it can blow up in your face. It is shown effectively in this movie, whenever in the different scenes that it is shown. People either use this to get like what they want, or if they just want to be mean and spread some rumors. So the next concept I will be talking about is impression formation theory. This theory explains how you develop how you view another and how you maintain those perceptions about that person and about their behavior. This concept is shown when Janice said how would I describe Regina George? And then it switches to the junior class. Now this is what I was talking about whenever I said the junior class, because there's multiple girls in this one where they start saying, oh, she's flawless. They start talking about like what she has, and just how she's perfection and how they want to be friends with her. Even though this one girl at the very end of that like little scene says, she said, I got punched in the face by Regina George, and it was awesome. So that made me laugh a little bit, but while they are all saying, like describing Regina George, Katie starts putting together what type of person Regina George is, and just seeing how she acts and stuff. So this is important because it develops a perception about others without getting to really know them. It's shown effectively in this movie because Katie knows that she's gonna be in like a really tough crowd, and she has to follow all these rules, and in order to be friends with Regina George, she has to be perfection. And this shows how others see you and how others can describe you to someone who doesn't really know you. The last concept that I will be talking about today is words of apology. This one is really big whenever it comes to the very end of the movie. It pretty much is, you make a mistake, you apologize for it, and you ask forgiveness. So the scene that I would say this is used is the very last scene, or not the last scene, but one of the last scenes in the movie where Katie gets Spring Fling Queen. Well, she gets the Spring Fling Queen and she goes up and she starts does like a speech. She's not supposed to really do a speech, but she does it. And so she starts apologizing for all the people that were hurt in the burn book. And she looks down at the crown and she's just like, I don't really know why everybody was stressing over this or crying over this. It's just plastic. Well, after she says that, she starts to break it. And she starts giving it to people in the crowd that she thinks that looks like royalty. She thinks everyone looks like royalty that night. Even Regina George, who got hit by a bus, which is pretty funny. But she then starts to throw it in the crowd, throw it to the other people that were also nominated for Spring Queen, and she's just asking their forgiveness in the concept. Okay, so this concept is important to learn because it helps one to see if they did something wrong and how they can fix it. It's shown very effectively in this movie at the end, and it helps someone to realize what they did, and it helps them learn, and it helps them to apologize and ask forgiveness, pretty much in just how they can grow with their decision, and I hope they forgive them and stuff like that. So it's a really big concept that you need to know, because you need to learn to when to apologize. Because if you don't, you won't get far in life if you have a short temper. So here's the video for words of apology. There's probably going to be another ad, but we'll see how this goes. Come on, let's load.
Now that we've helped people customize and save with Liberty Mutual, we can finally do some beach reading.
So let me let it load for a little bit so it won't cut out. And that should be good.
To all the people whose feelings got hurt by the burn book, I'm really sorry. You know, I've never been to one of these things before, and when I think about how many people wanted this, and how many people cried over it and stuff, I mean, I think everybody looks like royalty tonight. Look at Jessica Lopez. That dress is amazing. And Emma Gerber, I mean, that hairdo must have taken hours, and it looked really pretty. So, why is everybody stressing over this thing? I mean, it's just plastic. Really just... Sharon.
Okay, so that was the scene of her apologizing for the burn book. And for those who don't know what the burn book is or have never seen this movie, the burn book was a book that the Plastics made whenever they were younger, and they put all these nasty lies and stuff, and it pretty much got out to everyone, and because Regina got mad that Katie pretty much stole her group, so she pretty much printed out the whole burn book a couple of different times and spread it through the whole entire hallway. So that's what she was talking about the burn book. So in conclusion, this project really helped me look at a movie differently and to see the deeper meanings in movies, and to show really how the theories can be effectively, this allows me to see how theories can be used effectively in real life, and it's important that you know these concepts and these theories, because it really shows how someone can reflect on the way that they act, and the way that they talk, the way that the rumor spreads, stuff like that. So this is just my reference page. I hope y'all